I'm joined now by Vince Dell'Anno, Global Lead for the Big Data Practice at Accenture. Vince, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Mac.
At what point should education and training be addressed during a data initiative?
Well, we're seeing a lot of projects where clients are just bringing on lots of people, and a lot of the effort seems undirected. They just want to capture as many skills as possible that are technology focused. And so really what they should be doing is looking at what is it I'm trying to accomplish and what are the skills that I need in order to accomplish that thing. And once you understand what it is you're trying to do, you have a better sense of how deep the skill sets are that I need to have to support a project. And so we're thinking that in order to do this correctly, you need to have strategy around that's business. You have to have training that's business focused, analytics focused, and technology focused, and incorporate that as part of your overall big data strategy and do that up front.
So just going in and hiring a bunch of people is probably not the best strategy, right?
Well, you're going to find that not as many of them exist as you want. And
is that right?
Yeah, and they're expensive, and so you typically have a lot of talent inside of your organization that's very interested in learning these things. So leverage the talent pool that you have, and complement that with hiring outside is what we're seeing as being a winning strategy.
Do you find that organizations underestimate the amount of time it takes to do data cleanup?
I really do. Building systems, data has always been a problem, right? Making sure it's clean, understanding what the lineage of that data is. So it's no different today. But when you're dealing with lots of unstructured data where it's not all documented, you don't know what the unstructured data means, you get into it and as you find multiple systems may be generating similar data but not the same data, so how do you accommodate that? And we've seen extreme examples of where estimating 20% of your effort around the data cleansing effort is really more like 70% as you get in and see these different types of problems that emerge.
That's a big gap.
It is a big gap.
If a company is using big data, does that automatically make them, quote unquote, data driven? That phrase gets thrown around a lot.
I don't think so. There was a quote in yesterday's discussion around the business driven, data driven enterprise, and they talked about just having the data doesn't mean that it is sort of strategically valuable to you. It has to be used or leveraged for operational. So you can still use big data technologies to do discovery and things like that, but it's not until you really operationalize it. And doing that on a scale where where you're implementing these things in production, that's when you start to become a data-driven enterprise.
Yeah.
When data becomes part of your decisioning process and automating it.
No, that makes sense. That's a clearer definition than just, we have a bunch of data, so we're data-driven.
Exactly.
Last question for you. Do you feel that the big data story is primarily a technology story, or is there a lot more at play here?
I think a year, 18 months ago was probably more of a technology discussion. If you look at this conference and other conferences a year, 2 years ago, it was mostly about the technology. As people have begun to explore and leverage these tools, it's becoming more than just the technology. It's about, do I have the right people? How do I execute? How do I make data part of my decisioning in an automated way? So it's more than just the technologies. It's about analytics. It's about organization. It's about how do you deliver. So I think it's gone beyond that, and you started to see that coming to life here at this conference.
Well, thanks for being with us. Appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.